Hi, this is Jeff Rouse at Our Story Studios, and look who stopped by to see me.
Hello, Stephanie Busiahn Executive Director. Visit Fairmont.
Yes, indeed. Glad to see you again.
Good to see you too.
We just got done shooting an episode of Martin County on TV. Would you like to see that?
I would love to see it.
Why don't we show the folks? I'm here today with
Connie Anthony.
John Anthony.
Welcome. And you're with
Peterson Anthony Insurance.
Well, thank you very much for co-hosting today. Glad to have you. Share with the folks a little bit about your business and the history of the business.
Peterson Anthony Insurance was started in 1916 by my grandfather.
16? Did you?
Yep. So
unbelievable.
Third generation family-owned business, 102 years, almost 103 years now.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. In Monterey, Minnesota.
Monterey. Now that's a name you don't hear very often.
Yep. He lived in Triumph, but worked in Monterey, which was a little bit scandalous.
Very scandalous.
That's awesome. So now that's where the company started.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
And then it's expanded, obviously. And tell us a little bit now your presence in Fairmont as well as there.
Yes. In 2008, we opened a location in Fairmont and love being in the community. And it just has allowed us to reach more people throughout Martin County and southern Minnesota.
When you say southern Minnesota, do you serve the whole area into Iowa too, or Minnesota-based?
We're Minnesota-based, but we can serve customers in Wisconsin, Iowa, South Dakota, North Dakota, and Arizona.
And how long have the two of you been part of it? Well, you've probably been part of the company since you were two, but...
I started in 92 when we got married, so
okay.
I've been going on... It'll be 27 years next year.
Yep, and I started in 1994. We decided when we first got married, maybe we should not work together initially. And I'm a big city kid, so I was moving to the small community, and we thought maybe giving me some time to get adjusted before we started working together. So
now, do you live here in Fairmont now?
We do.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
I know you're both very involved with a lot of things happening here in town, and I think that's very cool. What are a couple of things that you're doing now that are making a difference in the community?
Things that we're supporting right now, and there's a lot of them, but a couple to highlight would be Heaven's Table Food Shelf. We're very passionate about food, eating food, but also making sure that we work with organizations that help provide sustainability for people, and we're very passionate about stability in people's ability to access food and have a stable source of food to eat. Kids Against Hunger is another organization we've been very, very involved with and passionate about participating in, and it only takes a quarter to feed a person for a day. So
amazing.
Yeah. And then a third one that we're involved in is at Grace Lutheran Church. We're head of the mission committee, and our mission funds that we raise are spread across the globe, across our region, across our state, and locally here too in Fairmont.
Very, very cool, and definitely making a difference worldwide from Fairmont. That's very cool.
Yes.
Very cool. I have a report here I wanted to show the folks and you guys. It's a focus on Fairmont report of someone who is making a difference, and that's Marlon Gratz, who was the mayor here in town, who passed away while he was in office.
Wow.
Janet Ruth did an incredible tribute to him in 1995.
A few years ago.
So a couple years ago, and it's a tremendous tribute to a man that truly made a difference in his time.
Oh, it'll be great to hear this story.
Take a look.
That next show is scheduled to air the weekend of January 27th. You can always catch it now at the top of each hour, Friday through Monday nights, every other weekend on Channel 12. We'd like to close our show this weekend with a tribute to our former mayor, Marlon Gratz. Marlon resigned as mayor on December 1st and died of cancer on December 15th. A popular community leader and friend to many, Marlon's loss is felt by all of us. We talked with a few people. Floyd Hale, Marlon's longtime friend and business associate, Pastor Lindy West of Grace Lutheran Church, one of Marlon's ministers, Dr. Neil Nickerson, a friend, neighbor, and fellow school board member with Marlon, current Mayor Donna Holstein, and former Mayor David Miller. We asked them why, in their opinion, Marlon was so respected and what they felt were his important contributions to this region.
There's too many to mention, I guess, really. I think mainly the way he lived. Marlon was a good friend and a good man. And like I say, he was easy to be with and understanding of people. He was always willing to help in any situation, regardless of whether it was work or in church or wherever. So this made him important to people. You knew he was dependable.
Marlon was really a fine person. I think Marlon took his vocation or calling very seriously to function in several places in this world: family, church, his own place of employment, the community, education. All of these were places where Marlon could exercise his calling as a Christian citizen.
First of all, he was a good neighbor of mine when I first moved to Fairmont, clear back in 1953. I saw him as a very fine Christian gentleman even then, and a wonderful father to his kids, and my kids when I wasn't around. And then my closest relationship with him was in the school board. And he and I served, I think it was about 7 years together in the mid-60s. And this was a time of great change in this area, because at the school we had kind of a rotating chair superintendency there. There were 3 of them came and went in that 7 years period. That poses some real tough problems. But I remember so well one problem that we were facing at the time, and that was this movement to absorb rural school districts into the larger Fairmont district. And of course, that was a very touchy subject amongst the rural farmers for many reasons. Taxes and what's going to happen to their kids and the way it was before. All that, he was in a position to really make a contribution. Now, most of us on that school board didn't have the faintest notion about what went on in a rural school district. And Marlon grew up in that. And so, in fact, it was one of the rural districts here that he finished, and then he finished here in Fairmont High School. He was in a unique position to make us sensitive to the concerns and the needs of the rural farmer, and present those to the board in such a way that it really made us listen. And so as a result of that, we were much more open-minded than we would have been otherwise, thanks to him.
I really think one of his finest qualities was that he really took every issue to heart. He thought about every issue. He studied every issue. And he looked at both sides. He talked to people. And when he came to a conclusion, it was always, in my opinion, and I think always in his opinion, he was always looking out for the best of Fairmont. Not necessarily the people in his own ward or a distinct or a special interest group. Marlon always did what was good for the whole community. And as a councilman, I had great respect for that, because I think that's kind of the way a councilman should vote.
Marlon was always a listener and a leader, and he was willing to offer compromises, to help people communicate their ideas. And I think all of those all those qualities helped make him an effective leader.
His Christian attitude was good. This was a big part of his life, and we were able to talk about these things too, and which is important to both of us.
Here's a man at 72 years of age who becomes a mayor and very effective. I think the message in that is we're to stay involved and to be fruitful and productive as long as we can in our lives. And I think that's the legacy that Marlon leaves for this community.
His ability to appear in public and obviously enjoying what he was doing, and to be able to project an image of Fairmont that I thought was right on every time. It was an amazing gift he had. And so I say, in his service in the council and as a mayor, he was very good, and we thank him for it.
I think Marlon was one of those quiet leaders. I know we'd always often talk. Our styles were a little different, and I always kind of went to Marlon on many different occasions, because I knew he kind of came from a little different perspective than I would come from. But I think he was, like I said, a very quiet leader, but he was very upfront. He was very honest, for starters. I think he had high ethical values, and that carried him over into his political life. By having high ethical values, I think he looked at every issue in a very honest fashion, and he was very honest about things. But he never patted himself on the back or anything. He always just went about and did his job, and he did it very good, in my opinion. But he did it kind of quietly. Marlon wasn't one that liked to sit up on a soapbox and talk about himself or what he accomplished. But and so I think probably a lot of people didn't know what he accomplished. But a lot of us also did know what he accomplished, and that was in many aspects. And he did so many things. It was just, I don't think I could list them all.
I think Marlon had a tremendous amount of sensitivity, and he was extremely compassionate, which I think are important qualities in a leader. And I think that Marlon was of the thought also it didn't matter who got the credit as long as the goal was accomplished. And I think that is in itself the sign of a good leader.
We asked Mayor Holstein and also former Mayor Miller what Marlon's goals were for the city.
I think the housing project was a project that this homestead project that the council just passed recently. I think that was one of his goals, was to establish that type of a situation for independent living. I know economic development was always one of his goals, and hoping that would succeed. And I think probably one of the goals that he had that I would hope will proceed, and I know that presently it's probably on the back burner, is a community center.
Marlon really felt a great concern for new and more adequate housing. I think he also had a great concern about a community center. I think those were two of his real prime issues in his term as mayor, and I know we had talked to him earlier while I was mayor that he was very concerned about housing and the community center and the swimming pool, and getting that concern kind of taken care of. Beyond that, I really don't know, but I know he was very concerned about housing. He really did. He was very concerned.
Marlon's public service was shortened due to his ill health. We asked Pastor Lindy West how Marlon faced his terminal illness.
I think for Marlon, as with other Christians, there are parallel emotions running through one's life and through one's family. I think Marlon faced the fact he had terminal cancer, and it would eventually claim him, and he was preparing for that day. And I think the Christian does live with the assurance that after this earthly life, there's more life with our Lord. Also, Marlon loved life, however, and I think he lived it to the fullest up to the end, and he enjoyed serving. So in that sense, I think he had trouble, like we all would, in letting it go, too.
Part of Marlon's legacy is his family. His grandson, Aaron Zinter, composed a song in honor of his grandfather entitled A Source. He performed it for his grandfather on Thanksgiving and also again at his funeral. Aaron also wrote Marlon a letter last May 31st when he learned of his grandfather's diagnosis of cancer. He gave us his permission to share it with you. Dear Grandpa, hearing the news of your illness has brought many things into perspective for me. I've never really been this closely involved with an issue of this magnitude. I suppose that I've always felt that my family would be invulnerable, but I know that time never ceases, and I've learned that even with the intelligence we have obtained thus far, some things still cannot be avoided. I want to write you so that I can gather my thoughts into one piece of literature so that you may understand all of the unspoken words that I and numerous others have not said to you. I feel you should know these things because I would really regret not telling you, and you deserve to know how wonderful you are to everyone. First of all, your generosity is unmatched. Whether it is through money, service, or love, you have always shown those whom you encounter a generosity that everyone desires and needs without asking for anything in return. Through these acts of yours, you have been honored by all. Your generous service has been exemplified through actions in the service, your job at Stokely's, through serving as mayor of the town of Fairmont, by developing woodworks and crafts, and by working so hard on daily jobs that you aren't even expected to do. I cannot recall how many times you have given your talents to help your children and grandchildren with tasks such as painting, building, putting up basketball poles, you name it, you've done it. These tasks you've done for us have required a deep love that makes us all feel incredible. Your genuine service reminds me of the Lord, who in all his glory still served others. I know I speak for everyone when I say I owe you my sincere gratitude for everything you have done that has touched my life. Your qualities of great character do not stop at just service. I need to thank you personally for your unlimited patience, understanding, and open-mindedness. By putting these qualities to work, you have not only taught me your arts of woodwork and fishing, but you have also taught me by example how to appreciate and use these qualities. I can now take these and teach my children and others by example. You have always shown a great deal of compassion and heart, and I know if I lived my life showing the great qualities you possess, my life would be worthwhile, and I would be more than satisfied knowing that many have gained by my life. I was so impressed with the speech you gave as mayor about change. Change is expected and unstoppable, but the ideal of good character has been around forever, and if everyone carried with them as strong of a character as you, this world, despite changes, would have no limits. I would like to thank you again for every little thing that makes you so special to me and everyone else. I am truly thankful that I have a role model that is so wise, understanding, and loving. I take pride in knowing that my life has been blessed by your presence. God loves you, and so do I. Your grandson, Aaron.
Now that was a great report.
Wow, that was really fascinating.
Janet did a wonderful job, as always.
Yes, she always does.
She always does. But what a great tribute to a man that was truly making a difference.
It was.
Share with the folks a little bit about the type of insurance that you offer to the folks and such.
We're independent agents, so that means we offer a number of different companies over a number of different types of insurance.
Okay.
Our start was in Tremont, as we talked about before, and that's an agricultural community, so a lot of our business out of that office is the farm business.
Okay.
We write crop insurance out of there. When we came to Fairmont, we decided to grow other lines of our business, and we've really focused on the personal lines. We enjoy working with young families and writing their home and auto and those types of accounts.
Now, have the two of you seen a large change in how people are acquiring information about their insurance or what they need, online or in person, or a little bit of both?
When I started, we had one computer, and it sat in the corner, and a longtime employee, Shirley, would fire it up once a month and send out bills. And now everything is on the computer.
And
So
I'm guessing with this, tell me if I'm correct, that a lot of the younger people, I sound like an old guy because I am, but a lot of the younger people, you probably haven't got to know as well because they do everything online.
You know, we've heard statistics that people like to shop online, but they don't like to buy online.
That makes sense.
And we hear time and time again that I don't really understand insurance. I don't really, not that they don't care about it, but it is complicated. And so they want to work with someone that they can trust, that's going to have their best interest in mind. And so when it comes down to it, we find that people want to meet face to face, and they want to have an agent that's there for them and will help them.
So they can go to the website, they can find out some facts, find out what you do,
Exactly.
but they still want that personal
Yes.
one-on-one touch, which is
absolutely.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
For those of us that are a little bit older, I like to hear that because the connection is still there.
Well, and I think we particularly have started focusing on capturing younger people as they get started. And it's been really exciting to watch some of these kids. We've watched them grow up because they're the age of our own children, or, we taught them in Sunday school, and it's fun to see them go out on their own and to be able to be a part of their lives and help them make good decisions to protect the things that they work really hard for. And we feel so privileged to get to be a part of their lives. But, we get to hear a lot of the great things about what is going on in people's lives, and we really just thrive on those relationships and love being a part of that.
That's awesome. Well, and when you're in your office, you feel that. It's a family group helping people. And I think that's a compliment to the both of you. Speaking of that, how many employees do you have?
We have 8.
8, wow.
Yes, we do. 3 in our Tremont location and 5 here in Fairmont.
Wow. And you had a move not too long ago.
Yes, we did. We moved from one of the oldest buildings in Fairmont. We were in the old post office building, and we grew and we ran out of room. It was noisy and chaotic. And so we now have a little bit more space, and now we're in one of the newest buildings in Fairmont.
And it's a beautiful location. Just
we do like
really,
it.
Really nice.
Yes.
Can't say enough for Steve Pierce, though. He was so gracious to us and was really good to work with.
Yeah.
It was a hard decision.
Yes, I'm sure it was, because what an incredible building that is.
It is.
And I know when I was in that office, it was becoming obvious in a complimentary way that room was needed.
Yes.
So I'm sure it was a hard decision.
Yes, it was. It was very hard to leave, and Sarah was so good to us too when she took over for her dad. And,
sure.
Yeah, our hearts are still there.
Absolutely. Now, personally, children?
Yes. Yeah, we have 2 children. Our daughter, Malin, is 24, and our son, Espen, is 21. And Malin's living up in the cities and launching as a young adult, and our son is junior up at Concordia in Moorhead.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. Any chance of next generation?
At this point, we don't think so. Grandpa is working really hard on them to come back. But, we've always told them that the business is there for them.
Absolutely.
But if that's not their passion, then we want them to do whatever.
Of course.
Whatever feeds their soul. So,
of course.
Yeah.
And they can make a difference in their own way.
That's right.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of making a difference, another segue. You so generously did a spot for our story over the years called Making a Difference.
Yeah, that was fun.
And you did a great job, and I always enjoyed watching them.
I think I told you that my hero as I was growing up was Jane Pauley. I always wanted to be Jane Pauley, so this is my opportunity.
This is your Jane Pauley moment.
Yeah, yep, this is
So, folks, we're going to watch a segment that you did probably in about 2008.
Yeah, I think so.
And it's kind of your Jane Pauley moment, I would say.
Yeah.
So let's take a look.
Good day. I'm Connie Anthony, and welcome to the first episode of Making a Difference. Our Story Productions has long been sharing the points of interest in our communities. While working on our stories, we met many people in our small towns that have shared stories about businesses, people, and organizations that are making a difference in their communities. Therefore, at Our Story Productions, we decided to share their stories, the stories of the businesses, the people, and the organizations that are making a difference. Robert F. Kennedy said, "The purpose of life is to contribute in some way to making things better." So won't you join me as we take a look at a couple of organizations who are contributing to their communities. Fairmont FFA was originally established in September of 1936 and was active until 1982. Today, the Fairmont Agriculture Program has been reborn at Fairmont Area High School. This program has received unparalleled financial and in-kind support from both individuals and businesses in the agriculture community, and the program is off to a great start. Current agriculture courses offered include small animals, animal science, wildlife management, plant science, landscaping, exploring agriculture, agriculture business and economics, and agriculture leadership. In addition to exploring the courses and career opportunities offered by the Fairmont Agriculture Academy, all students enrolled in an agriculture class have the opportunity to participate in the Fairmont FFA chapter. FFA, formerly known as the Future Farmers of America, is a nationwide organization for students interested in exploring career opportunities in agriculture, with over 500,000 members in all 50 states. The FFA motto, learning to do, doing to learn, earning to live, living to serve, describes the FFA priorities of hands-on learning and community service. The Fairmont FFA chapter has had a long history of service to the community, and the organization looks forward to building a chapter that will carry on this strong tradition of excellence. We salute the Fairmont FFA chapter for making a difference in our community. That was incredible. Painter, architect, and inventor Leonardo da Vinci said, "I have long been impressed with the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Being willing is not enough. We must do." Let's take a look at organizations that are willing to make a difference. The concept of the Fairmont Opera House began in 1899 when Frank A. Day, editor of the Fairmont Sentinel, began prodding local businessmen to build an opera house, and his persistence paid off, and construction of the building began in 1901, and live performances delighted area patrons with a variety of entertainment. In 1912, the silent film arrived, and with the installation of a big screen, cinema was enjoyed. By 1925, the novelty of the silent movies had faded, and the Opera House returned to its roots and introduced more and more live performances until 1927, when Mr. Nicholas changed the name to the Nicholas Theater and went about making massive structural changes to the building. In 1929, the Fairmont Opera House was once again transformed into a state-of-the-art movie theater. By the end of the 1950s, the once majestic Opera House was in decline, and competition from newer movie theaters in the area forced the owners to close the business and chain the doors. Then in 1980, a group of community-minded individuals, led by Dr. Robert and Mary Arneson, started a concerted effort to save the community treasure. The building was placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1980, and by the end of the year, the group had purchased the Nicholas Theater for $51,000. On May 13, 1981, the Opera House opened its doors once again. Although opera has very rarely been performed in the Fairmont Opera House, many other live performances have taken place over the years. Today, the Fairmont Opera House is in its glory days once again after years of hard work and restoration. Having made significant progress in restoring the building, the new focus of the Fairmont Opera House is to bring the highest quality entertainment to our community. The Fairmont Opera House is proud to present season after successful season of live performances. We salute the Fairmont Opera House and its hundreds of volunteers for making a difference in our community. Again, incredible. Businessman and philanthropist Larry H. Miller said, "Go out into the world and do good until there is too much good in the world." Now let's take a look at organizations doing good works. The Martin County Area Foundation was started in 1993 by a group of visionary community members along with a matching grant program from the Mickelson Foundation. Since that time, gifts from individuals, families, businesses, and estates have helped the fund grow to over $1,650,000 and has generated earnings of over $571,000. These earnings have been distributed back to Martin County communities through grants. In 2012, nearly $35,000 in grants were awarded to 11 area groups, including Crest, East Chain 4-H Club, Fairmont Area Kinship, Fairmont Soccer Association, Martin County Beyond the Yellow Ribbon, Lakeview Methodist Home, and many more. Martin County Area Foundation grants provide essential funding for many projects in the community. The Martin County Area Foundation grant requests far exceed the funds available, and this disparity has been very typical over the last few years. Unfortunately, there continues to be many worthwhile projects that go unfunded. Many have invested time and financial donations to the Martin County Area Foundation, and everyone is invited to join the other outstanding citizens as together we strengthen our roots and our quality of life in Martin County. We salute the Martin County Area Foundation for making a difference in our community. We salute these and all organizations that are truly making a difference in our communities. This has been Connie Anthony, and we will see you next time on Making a Difference.
Well, that was great.
That was fun to see it again.
I think you could be the new Jane Pauley.
Next
Don't you
career.
think she could?
I think so too. I think it's kind of ironic that we both wanted to be Jane Pauley growing up.
Well, there might be room for both of you as the new Jane Pauley.
We've been pretty good partners so far.
We have your team, the Jane Pauleys.
Yeah, we can take
the new Jane Pauleys.
Yeah,
we could
there
call
you
it
go.
or something like that. Well, no, that was a great report, and thank you so much for doing that over the years.
Oh, it was fun to do. Thank you.
Very cool. Now, if the folks want to, if they have questions about your company, about insurance, or about the different things that you offer, how would they get a hold of you?
Well, they can check out our brand new website.
Brand new?
Yes, brand new website. You can contact us through that. In the bios, when you look at the bios for all the agents that work for us, you can even click right next to them and you can contact them directly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it doesn't just go to a generic email. You can.
Well, we're definitely going to have to check out the new website.
Yeah, we're excited about it. We love
That's
it.
very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you both for coming and helping me co-host today. I think we had some great reports. And to work with Jane Pauleys is quite a treat for me, I have to say. Thanks a lot for coming.
Thanks a lot, Jeff.
Take care.
Jeff.
Bye-bye. Well, there you have it. Another episode of Martin County on TV.
What a great episode.
Wasn't it? Turned out very well.
Yeah.
We want to thank you for stopping, our viewers for watching, and as we share with you the sponsors that made this show possible, remember, it's not just the past, but the present that tells our story.